best when they stare out the window. Cherie often fell asleep in class. Mrs. Jules didn't mind that either. She said that a lot of people did their best learning while they were asleep. Cherie spent a lot of time either looking out the window or sleeping. Mrs. Jules thought that the best way students learn was sleeping and looking out the window. One afternoon, it was very hot. All the windows were opened, yet Cherie still wore her red and blue overcoat. The heat made her very tired. Mrs. Jules was teaching arithmetic. Cherie pulled her hood up over her face, buried herself in her coat, and went to sleep. Mrs. Jules, said Kathy, Cherie's sleeping. That's good, said Mrs. Jules. She must be learning something. Mrs. Jules continued with her lesson. Cherie began to snore. Mrs. Jules, Cherie's snoring, said Kathy. Yes, I can hear her, said Mrs. Jules. She must be learning an awful lot today. I wish the rest of you could be like her. Cherie began to toss and turn. She flopped over on the desk, on her desk, then rolled over to Kathy's desk. Then she rolled back the other way. Kathy screamed. Cherie rolled out the window. She was still asleep. As you know, Mrs. Jules's class was on the 30th story of Wayside School, so Cherie had a long way to go. After she had fallen 10 stories, Cherie woke up. She looked around. She was confused. She wasn't in Mrs. Jules' classroom, or at home in her bed. She couldn't figure out where she was. She yawned and pulled her hood over her eyes and went back to sleep. But by the time she was halfway fallen, she had fallen halfway. She had fallen another 10 stories. Wayside School had an exceptionally large playground. Louis, the art teacher, was way over on the other side. When he happened to see Cherie falling out the window, he ducked under the volleyball net, hurtled past the kickball field, hopped over the hopscotch court, climbed through the monkey bars, sped across the grass, and caught Cherie before she hit the ground. The people in Mrs. Jules' class cheered. Cherie woke up in Louis's arms. Darn it, Louis, she said. What'd you have to go and wake me up for? I'm sorry, Cherie, said Louis. I'm sorry, Cherie repeated. Is that all you can say? I had a wonderful dream until you woke me up. You're always bothering me, Louis. I can't stand it. She laughed and hugged him around the neck. Louis carried her back up to the 30th flights of stairs to Mrs. Jules's room. And that evening, when Cherie went to bed, she was unable to fall asleep. She just wasn't tired. Well, I hope you enjoyed our Wayside School 4 chapters that we read.